Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to this edition of Real Talk here on Shelbyville. I'm David Thomas. This is Mr. Bo Gill.
Hello, how are
We're going
y'all?
to talk about some of the things that went on this weekend and things that are taking place right now as we speak, Bo. Before we dive into it, though, we need to hear from our sponsor, Norris Plumbing, for all your plumbing needs. We'll be right back and we'll dive into what's going on, Bo.
Sounds good.
Norris Plumbing, your go-to source for licensed and insured plumbing services. Hour emergency services when you need it. Norris Plumbing. Call us at 931-703-5915.
All righty. Bo, there's a lot of stuff that's happened.
There's a lot of stuff
and
going on.
Outside of it being real hot around here, these parts.
It's the dog days of summer.
Yeah, outside of that, I mean, that's something good. At least we know it's hot outside. It's summer. It's July. July 4th just happened. We got some rain maybe spotting around here and there. We probably need a little bit right now to cool things down. But, man, there's a lot happening in the world, Bo. And, and one of the first things that comes to my mind that's happened over the weekend was this terrible flood in Texas.
Oh, man. Yeah, it's just a heartbreaking situation. It reminds me of some of those may remember the 2021 flood in Waverly, Tennessee that we had that was such a tragic deal. But this here in Texas is to a larger degree, and they're still digging out and getting out of the mud. I've seen some of the videos and the mud that they're pulling out of houses. You know, there's a lot of just death and tragedy, and you know what? That's unfortunately what happens. And we can learn a lot from these events, I believe, but there's no way we can prevent them.
No, and there's a lot of people wanting to cast blame on the president, the former president, Noah Weather, the governor, the mayor, the police chief, the camp. I mean, this is a once in a life event that took place, and it's a tragic event, and it just happened. And there's nowhere to point the finger and blame it.
Especially in an event like this that happens every 100 years or maybe every 150 years. You never know. It's unpredictable. There are ways to plan for it, and you know, there were, I'm sure, precautions taken, but you know, any time in an event like this where something an act of Mother Nature happens, it's out of our control, and all we can do is bear down. And I just pray for those families and for those people in Texas that are going through this right now. I can't imagine going through something like this. So, you know, prayers to them. But yeah, the blaming and the well, this is Donald Trump's fault. Get with it, people. I mean, this is you're too plugged into your phone or your computer. This is something that happens, and read your history books. I would say this is something that happens. It's always happened since we've had recorded history, and before that, and it will continue to. All we can do is try to learn from these disasters, and I'm sure that we will in this disaster. But will it be enough to prepare for the next one? I don't know. But it's sad, David.
It is a sad situation. Well, there's some other things going on, Bo. Of course, we have Elon Musk and Donald Trump's little feud getting a little bit amped up because Elon now has formed what they call the America Party.
The America Party.
And we were talking about, before we came on, about third parties and all that. You know, this is just another, I think, just another chapter in this saga. I understand his frustration about the deficit, and there's a lot of people that are conservative that don't think we should have raised a $5 trillion debt ceiling and keep spending like what we've been spending. But, you know, it's like this. I think anybody would have to admit that no matter who we elect for president, we end up with John McCain.
Pretty much.
I mean, seriously,
they make these promises and these touts just to get elected. They get in, or they get appointed into positions, and then their talk is not quite as tough, or their bite is not like it was said earlier. That is politics in America, and unfortunately, until that changes, that's the way it's always going to be. You know, it's a prime example of what we get in there, and what we had in there, we get it replaced, and yeah, it's a lot better, but in certain aspects, but there's still covering for other people, and it's sad, but there's this country was not built on that. It was founded on men that would go to work, they would get elected, by their peers. They would serve for an amount of time, and then they would go home.
Yeah, and then go back to work.
They would go back to work. Instead, it's just a mess, a financial mess, financial ruin. Yeah. No, I'm not for the budget that has gone up however many trillion that just got approved. But yes, Donald Trump has done a lot of great stuff as far as handling the border, and he's doing a lot internationally. But I just, as a conservative, I can't, really agree with having to spend more money. But what Elon's saying and trying to create parties, I wish all the parties were gone. My stance, I've said it a few times. I think that the party people get so blinded by the party politics that they forget that they're American, and then there's a Constitution way above that. They put these parties above the Constitution, and that's totally backwards. That's not what was intended. I would say get away more from them and just be an independent type thinker and be a leader whenever you are representing. Not a leader. Be a leader when you're representing. That's what I'm saying is you be the one who does, you be an independent thinker, no matter if your friend's on there or not. You might have to vote against them sometimes. You be an independent. And I think that sets a tone of kind of being a leadership when you're independent. But you're right. You're a servant.
Free thinkers, man. You listen to your constituents and you vote the way they want. And that needs to be taking place at the local level, at that middle level, at the state, and definitely at the federal level. And honestly, all these people are out of touch.
And the only way it's hard to do is when you make too many big promises before you get in there. And then you get in there, and then when it comes down to it, you're scared to hurt, or you're scared to offend, or you're scared to vote against or vote with a certain thing. You have to be yourself. And whenever you
or the people that paid for you to get elected are saying, no, you can't do that.
No.
And that's what I'm going to bring up now. Today, this afternoon, probably an hour ago, Axios came out with an article. And basically what's happened is Dan Bongino, Kash Patel, our FBI people, our director, and then the second man have basically come out and said Jeffrey Epstein did not kill himself. Okay. Mm-hmm. They said that a couple months ago. Mm-hmm. Now today they came out and said that there's not a customer list. Okay. Yeah. The lady in jail right now serving 20 years for 5 counts of child trafficking. Mm-hmm. She didn't have customers.
No. That's right.
All right, so that they didn't have customers. There's not a customer list. So now we're not going to see a list.
No, we're not going to see
So I just wonder this. Who is it that's on the list?
Well, we could probably make some safe assumptions who was on that list. And a lot of them have maybe said that they've been on there and gotten it out of the way. I think that the list, bringing it up again, is just another distraction. But look, we are a nation of laws, and we can't ignore some laws because of a certain standard.
Well, here's the thing, Bo. It wasn't a distraction when the campaign was going on.
Exactly.
They were pounding they were beating the drums. We're going to take this list out and show the American people on day one.
Well, they weren't being serious, because when they've gotten in there now, that unless they found something that they're not sharing with the American public, that there is no list. Maybe he said, there is a list and I'm going to find it. Maybe there wasn't no list, but that's hard to believe.
Well, they published the list. WikiLeaks or somebody published the list.
Yeah.
And they got discredited, but there's a list.
Yes,
but they're just saying it's not a customer list.
Look, they want this to die. Everybody want that.
Yeah, they want it to go away.
Die. Anybody that's broken the law that could have to pay for that penalty wants their charge to go away. But in some way, shape, or form, people need to pay the penalty if they have broken the law. I don't like this backtracking that they're doing now, Bongino and Patel. I don't like this. They were talking big at first. Now they're saying there's nothing. Is there really nothing? They need to talk a little more about it, but I don't think we'll ever see anything in a long time.
It's going to get swept away.
It will.
Somebody with a lot of money wants it swept away.
It will. And you know what? And you can say, you know what? They need to. It's a distraction. But then on the other hand, this is a nation of laws. We have to make people pay for the.
Well, it's they're going to be in the news for 4 years straight.
Oh, it was
now all of a sudden it's quiet.
Yeah, it's a huge campaign deal. Now it's quiet, but That's the way they
I mean,
want to do.
this is not good.
No, it's
this
not.
Is terrible.
But fortunately for us, the Democrats, most of them are too stupid to when they're making hay to get this going, and it's not gonna. They're not gonna play on it the way they can. They could really use this in their favor. But
I'm anxious to hear what Sean Hannity says tonight. What Steve Bannon says. I've heard some of the other commentators, and they are livid.
Yeah, they are.
I mean, some of these conservatives that have blogs,
yes,
and the videos,
and they rightly should be.
They're like, what's going on?
Because we won't. When you say you're going to do something, and then there's when something doesn't add up, like in this case, then we're going to say something. That's
all right. So what happens to this lady that's in jail? Are they going to let her go now that she didn't have no customers? She couldn't have been trafficking.
Yeah. I mean, unless there's a ghost or something that we're not knowing
all right, this
about.
is stupid.
Yeah,
I mean, 1,100 underage girls were trafficked by her. She's serving 5 counts for 20 years, but now she don't have customers. How did that even happen?
No, I'm surprised that she's still alive. I mean, the way that things are going in this case, and the big people that. But no, you're exactly right, and I'm sure she'll probably be putting some type of appeal. But it's just another gross part of the world, of the character of some folks on this world, and I wish it would go away because it's sad. But if you've broken the law, you got to.
If these people did it, and they're not, I don't care how much money they got, they should pay the price for it.
That's 100%. I'm 100%.
If not, we don't live in a country.
No, we don't. We don't pick and choose.
Right. Let's move on to one other thing, Bo. Tariffs today. We had 5 new tariffs come out, or actually maybe 7. I'm not sure how many it was. I'm going to look here.
We had the Japan.
7 nations.
Okay.
What we got the Japanese stuff happening. We got South Africa. We got South Korea, Laos.
Vietnam,
No, Vietnam wasn't on this one. Well, I can't get it to come up now. It won't. It's frozen.
That was
they average 25 to 30% on all these.
And what we get quite a bit of stuff from
Malaysia. Malaysia was one. Malaysia, a lot of clothing.
Yeah.
South Korea, a lot of metal and a lot of components for electronics.
Yes.
Comes out of South Korea. Yeah. Okay. So we're going to get hammered there.
Yeah.
All right. Now, Bo, this is what this is. This is a tax.
Yes, it is.
We just got a tax cut extended that we've had, but this tax piles on top of it and makes up for all that we're getting there.
Plus some, probably.
Yeah. So the average right now, if it stays like it is without any other tariffs, the average family is going to spend 2.5% more money on these goods. It's going to cost them, I think the figures come up between $2,500 and $3,000 on average per family per year in tariffs.
Yeah. It's and then people are going to say, yeah, they approved tax cuts, and yes, they did technically. But when
those tax cuts were just extended, we're already getting them.
But they'll get that political play on that, and that's fine because I'm glad that the taxes aren't the same and the tariffs are there. At least there's something given there. But I mean, nobody likes to pay any type of taxes or anything, but sometimes we have to pay some of those.
Here's my question, Bo. Everybody asks about what happened to Elon.
Yeah.
Okay. You see Robert Kennedy doing his thing.
Oh, yeah.
He
seems focused.
He's attacked his job.
Yeah.
What's happened to Tulsi?
Yeah, no, Tulsi is, I don't know. She's a little flip-floppy, it seems like.
Well, no, what's happened is they pushed her in the corner.
Yeah.
When she came out and she read her intelligence.
Yeah.
Her intelligence that she got, that they're not days away from having a nuclear weapon. They're months or years away from having a nuclear weapon.
Yes.
All right. Well, first of all, they pushed her to the side. They paid her. They got her in there to do a job because she's like honest.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So what's happened to her?
She's out of the family circle.
My biggest question is what's happened to Musk? What's happened to Galbert? 2 of the dream team.
Mm-hmm.
So that leads me to one big question. What's happened to Trump?
Yeah, that it does make you wonder, when you have a couple big defectors like that in the so-called family circle. I would have thought that maybe the Elon Trump bash would have started to get a little better, but no, they've doubled down kind of this weekend. I think there was some back and forth going, but I don't know. They might be the ones that are just standing on what they know is the truth. I mean, if that's what Tulsi had, and she said it, then she's being ostracized for being.
But she
a
came
truth
in.
teller.
She came in from the get-go saying we don't want wars. We're trying to get out of wars. Okay,
right.
That aligned with what Donald Trump said.
Yes, it did. But the actions here are a little different. But Donald Trump is, I mean, it depends on a lot with the Middle East.
Well,
I mean, it's so volatile. But
let's talk about Ukraine.
Yeah,
Russia.
no, that's what I was going to say.
We're gonna be stuck in that thing for a while.
This weekend, I believe.
We're gonna keep sending money to them.
And they, I don't know how many missiles they attacked or they shot at Ukraine this past weekend here recently.
It's bad.
Yeah, it's real bad. I mean, it's still a bad war there.
We're gonna keep sending money to the east border of Ukraine is always mashed up against Poland.
Yeah, you're right.
We'll just keep sending money,
and we'll just go on and send it to whoever.
Just
in line there.
But the main thing is our congressmen that are bought and paid for by the military-industrial complex. As long as they keep washing their money, laundering their money back into their secret account, they're going to keep doing it.
No, they will, and then there will always be war.
So I want to know what's wrong with Trump. Why is he allowing this to happen?
I don't know. Maybe there's something. There's so much going on. Maybe sometimes he comes out of left field with some surprises. Maybe this will be a time when it's needed. I don't know.
I mean, all these people that were going to line up and support him and all this stuff, it looks like they bailed on him, and now he don't have anybody standing with him. I think. I mean, everybody's still, they're still out to get Putin.
I think that they're out.
Lindsey Graham's leading the charge.
I know it, and I think the ones that maybe have that Trump is not allowing around anymore have been, speaking what he doesn't want to hear, which is sometimes the truth, and then you just kind of stay away until we need you. I don't know. It could be the other way around, but I do know that. What is he thinking? I don't know. Nobody knows what Donald Trump's thinking, and I would, if I was to rate his presidency so far, since he's been in 7 months. I mean, I would give him a 75 to 80%.
I'll give him
a
C. I give him a C.
Yeah, that's
all right.
that's
on an A to F rating, I give him a C.
Yeah, so that's what a 75 to 80%.
If he keeps on these tariffs, he's slid into a D.
Yeah, I don't like. I don't like tariffs, and I especially don't like it when they're told that they're paying them when I know the truth.
That's kind of like that we're going to build a wall and Mexico's going to pay for it.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, it's kind of
the same deal.
Yeah, it's
a lie.
It's rhetoric.
It's just a lie. I mean, China is not paying the tariffs.
No,
we're paying the tariffs.
Yes.
I don't get it.
Well, we could say that until we're blue in our face, and people will still not believe that because they don't have to pay those on a day. I don't.
They're fixing to start having to pay them.
I mean, yes, they will.
Hey, have you bought orange juice lately?
No, I have not. I need to though. Do I
check
need to
out
check
orange
on it?
Juice.
Okay, is
we don't get it from the United States.
Oh.
Most of it's coming from Mexico, and guess what?
What's that?
Tariff.
Oh, tariff. Tariff is so. Let's see. Are you telling me that Florida orange juice is not coming from Florida?
No.
To be continued.
Read the labels.
I will.
Wait for coffee and chocolate.
I will do an in-depth study on orange juice this evening.
Yeah,
chocolate. I can't do them both.
But chocolate, and then you got a lot of stuff. A lot of coffee comes out of Colombia, of course, and other places.
Not Colombia down the road.
No,
right?
Not Colombia, Tennessee. Columbia, the South American country.
Those don't make
and I think you're going to see those prices go up too.
Yeah,
because the tariffs are going to hit those folks.
I mean, they're going to hit everybody.
Yeah, on Wednesday, it's like an avalanche of tariffs.
That's the deadline, right?
Yeah.
I mean, or is there going to be a pause?
Who knows?
Is he going to wake up feeling bad that morning or feeling good?
I feel like I'm in a blender every day, Bo, trying to figure out what's next.
Yeah, I know it. It is a blender out there, and so I would say try to stay away from the blades if you are in the blender.
Yeah, for sure. But I was going to try to get this tariff list, but it just won't pull up. I guess they're trying to block it so nobody can see it. I don't know. Here we go. The tariffs, 14 countries starting August 1st.
Oh, okay. Steep tariff says.
Bangladesh and Serbia at 35%. Cambodia and Thailand are set at 36%. South Africa and Bosnia are 30%. Indonesia, 32%. Japan, South Korea, Malaysia, Kazakhstan, and Tunisia, 25%.
Okay.
These are all from letters that he sent to them. He's just sending out letters.
No India?
India is still under negotiating, but the problem with India is they're part of the BRICS nations. They're talking about going away from the U.S. currency.
Okay, right.
So he's trying to rein them in from becoming a BRICS nation. That's where our focus should be is on the dollar.
Yes.
The collapse of the dollar. We got to watch that, because if BRICS does what they want,
Yeah.
all the oil in the world will be traded, or the majority of it will be using the BRICS, which will be a digital currency, and it will be going away from the dollar, the petrodollar, and that will collapse. There will be no need for the dollar, and our dollar will collapse. So we've got that. He's trying to negotiate to save that too.
I mean, that would be total.
No, we would have to have a reset of some sort of other currency.
Yeah. Maybe.
How about gold?
Gold
or
is
silver.
Yeah, I mean, that's
precious metals.
I've been buying some of that. You think they'll take a Confederate money? You know, I don't think that'll come back, will it? I've got it back by some hay. I've got it back by some hay.
I wish if you bought everything that was made in the United States, you'd be sitting naked and wouldn't have a chair to sit on. That's the truth. I mean, everything. There's not much made in the United States.
It's not enough to be able to supply us the way that we want to be supplied.
We won't have an electronic product. You won't have a washer, a dryer, a dishwasher. None of that's made in the United States.
I mean, none of it.
There's some that's labeled made in the United States, but it's all using China.
Yeah.
Chinese parts.
If we all did that and we depended on just say, it getting manufactured here, we wouldn't have anything.
No.
I mean, it would be very slow. We might eventually get our shirt, but we don't have that infrastructure.
If you're going to buy made in America, it's going to cost you 10 times more if you can find it.
But it could get to where everything could be made in America, but that would take what?
Years, 100 years.
I would say so. And that's what it took, like with the Industrial Revolution, to get to where we were like in the 70s, and then we give it all away.
We gave it all away.
And now here we are.
Starting in the late 60s, early 70s, we started giving it away.
So there you go right there. Talk about a reset.
We're fixing to have a reset.
That's scary.
Yeah, it is. All right. Connie says she knows how to make a stool. There you go. Go into business, right. Connie.
We will know where to get the stools.
Would you make me a stool? And if you would, how much will you sell it to me for?
Oh, look, we're creating a market.
Commerce.
We're creating a market already. I'm sure she'll have competition before you know it.
Probably. All right, Bo, let's get out of here. Thanks for watching, guys.
Yes.
Thanks, Miss Connie.
Always.
Give me the price on that stove. I'm a prospect.
We got them.
Sounds like it's thundering outside. We might be getting some rain. Hope it cools off. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll be back again real soon, probably Thursday.